Are you listening to this? This opening is a banger opening of the year. I'm honestly going to buy a license to this song if that's possible, of course. I mean, what kind of retard watches an anime just because of an opening, am I right, guys? Well, I've watched anime for worse reasons, so don't judge. I'm sure you did too. Accidental incest? Pfft, like, that's unusual. I mean, just don't try to recommend it to anyone because they'll think you're a degenerate for watching this stuff. Who'd give it an 8 on my anime list, am I right? Now, I'm not the guy who analyzes openings, but damn, this opening says much. Are you telling me that you didn't feel the sadness, the powerful emotions reminding you of that time Jessica left you because your mental health was damaged and you had no job? Like, fuck you, Jessica. Domestic Girlfriend is a mess, a hot mess, and as weird as this may sound, I kinda, sorta, unironically, like it very much. No, please wait. The anime ignores the traditional route of the naive and realistic romance that we're all used to and tired of, and instead emphasizes on how love can be portrayed during the adolescence and among the youth in real life. The purity of love usually fades during high school and is instead overwhelmed by lust, curiosity, and the desire to experience them, which is what Domestic Girlfriend is centered around. The story of the anime is tangled and somehow complex. Imagine you have a crush on your teacher, obviously a hot teacher. One day you have casual sex with a girl you just met during a karaoke party, which also happens to be your first time. When you get home, you find that your dad will get remarried, and you'll have 2 new sisters. How cool is that? Not very cool. But then you meet them, and well, one is the teacher you have a crush on, and the other is that girl you just fucked. Seems perfectly fine, like incest is eternally incest, am I right? Now let's put the whole incest thingy aside for a moment, and let me say that it is actually a really good romance show. There, I said it. No, please wait. I'm talking about feelings and how they develop these feelings of love for each other. Having a crush on someone or having casual sex with someone, yeah, of course that's what started it, but what took that flicker, carried it and turned it into a flame was mainly curiosity, but also lust, which is incredibly realistic and is something that you don't see very often used in anime. It becomes a sort of a poetic love triangle that has the intention of portraying a realistic relationship, and it's quite believable aside from the setting that could probably never happen. Now, I think that having some level of realism in a romantic story is essential, but going above that essential threshold can either enhance your story or make it flat and unremarkable, depending on how it's used. But my god, Domestic Girlfriend does such an astonishing job. Alongside the obvious mentality difference between the young and the old, the reactions and the attitudes are, well, slightly dramatic, but absolutely believable and a truthful representation of real life, which is what I enjoyed the most. You have this contrast between Hina, the older female with a mature mentality that doesn't quite know what she wants, someone who's still finding her true self and, although experienced and with a good understanding of certain feelings, still struggles with them. And the much younger female Rui, who's still discovering herself and has to go through the encounters of youth. She's inexperienced and struggles to understand certain feelings. Wait, something's not quite right. Yes, both females are unsure of what they want, and they waver with their feelings and the protagonist's feelings. Hina has a kind and caring personality, but also a habit of teasing people, especially her younger brother, student. She's a laid-back carefreeness that borders on slobby, but she's also consumed by lust and love to a certain extent. She's not quite responsible and can't really do much besides drinking. But Rui can. She's good at cooking, she seems quite intelligent but lacks in the social skills department, which is why she appears to be a moody teenager who stares angrily. She's simply experiencing affection, sex, and getting towards understanding the meaning of love. Whether her ways are right or wrong, it's debatable. The character juxtaposed and naturally the choice of our protagonist. Would you go with the older lady, who would spare you of unnecessary teen drama but also kind of rob you of your adolescence? Or go with a younger lady who's still a mystery and suffered the headache of youth. Ambiguousness, jealousy, selfishness, silly fights, but also experience them yourself. The majority of people seem to dislike Hina for some reason, which appears to be because she has an affair. Nani? Complicated relationship is one of the most obvious themes in the anime, yet people seem to disregard it when it comes to Hina. Her reason for this affair is also perfectly justifiable, which makes her character even more empathetic. But I guess that's just me. On the other side of the coin, there's the fan favorite Rui, who still has a coat of innocence, but her curiosity quickly carves through that coat, which is terribly interesting to be honest. Both characters are intriguing in their own conflicted way. And there's the male protagonist, I suppose, Natsuo, who overreacts to every single little thing. Annoys the hell out of me. He's the one who creates unnecessary drama that is just that, unnecessary. But thankfully he isn't ashamed to express his feelings and he's ready to take the first step if needed. He shows subtle signs of development, and as the story progresses he gets a more raw understanding of how life works. He's fine overall. Now I want to bring up the question of, is the incest in this case actually wrong? Cause I'd say it's not, even though the writer tries to make everyone think that way. The blood thing aside, they don't have a family bond because they didn't grow up together. They didn't grow up as a family, for fuck's sake, the younger one just fucked a few days before they became step-siblings. Also, Natsuo's feelings for his teacher don't just change because his father happened to marry her mother. On the contrary, now that they live together, naturally those feelings are enhanced. Is it weird and awkward? Yes, they still have to deal with the idea of becoming a family and to put on a facade in front of their parents. But is it wrong? Not really. Am I justifying incest right now? Technically. Overall, domestic Kanojo is trash, and I love it. A twisted yet realistic take on a lustful love story that makes me, unironically, eager to watch the next episode. There's nothing wrong with me, I swear.